Okay, here. So, I just want to show you this sweater. I really like this sweater. It's very cozy. Hey everybody, welcome to Love Above All with Brandis. It has been a long time since I've been on camera, and I'm very intentional about my video today, so I invite you to join me for a heart-to-heart. I have a question to ask you and kind of just to fill you in on where I believe I'm headed on this channel. So if you'd like to stay here and listen with me, then please stay with me. Okay, so hi you guys. So I think the last time that I filmed was in the summer, and that was right before I was about to do my climb series with a women's workshop with a women's group that I am involved with. My main question this time around is, how can I serve you? What type of videos are you wanting to see from me? I do want to post at least once a week, starting with the new year. So think about that, put it in the comments below. Do it now, do it after the video is over. You can also follow me on Instagram at loveaboveallwithbrandis. I have changed my name on there, and you might notice that I've changed my name on YouTube as well. I just feel it's way more appropriate because Mrs. Love Above All just sounds to me and feels to me that I'm supposed to be I guess this love person all of the time, and that's unrealistic for any human being. So I feel like Love Above All with Brandis fits better my channel and my motives and what it is that I'm wanting to do. So without any further ado, I want to go ahead and share with you the second part of this video, which is my heart-to-heart. So what I want to talk about with you is post-traumatic stress. And again, with all of my heart and soul, this wasn't something that I'm like, oh, let me make sure that I talk about this, and I'm so excited to talk about this. It's something that the Lord has placed on my heart, and I've been encountering a lot of women throughout my walk within the last year that tell me things, that tell me secrets, that tell me, you know, traumas that maybe they've been through. And I just really feel like the messages and conversations that I have with these women about some of my own personal experiences, I feel like it's something that I definitely want to get out there on YouTube as well. If this can even help one person be in a better place, then it's worth it, and I need to talk about it. I didn't film for a very long time. I think it was like after Bryson. I think it was I had Bryson, and then sporadically I filmed, and I think I took a while off, was because from what I know now, being able to step back, I was suffering post-traumatic stress disorder, so PTSD. And when you think of PTSD, you think about someone that's went off to war and that they are struggling with that. And I would have never thought in a million years that I could have been suffering from PTSD. I feel like in my life, I've been extremely depressed probably 2 times. And within those 2 times, I've never went on antidepressants. I've always been just the type of person, this is just the way I am. I'm not at all saying that it is wrong for anybody else, but just the way I am, I'm always seeking another method or another mode. And just the way my brain works, I'm always wanting to go to the root. What is the root? What is the root cause? So I started this YouTube channel with something called the Mask series, and I'm going to go ahead and put it up there. And that was a point in my life when the Lord totally stripped away my identity. I was a teacher. I was a Spanish high school teacher for 8 years. He totally took me out of that. I felt like I was stifled. I was in a place where I was stifled, and I felt God telling me, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And me being me, I tend to listen. When God is truly prompting me and when I truly feel it, I tend to listen, and I don't analyze it too much. I'm very much like, when I get that huge feeling and prompting, I'm gonna go with it. So I ended up leaving teaching, and during that period of, it was probably about a year, knowing I was leaving, knowing that, and I wasn't even pregnant yet with Estella. I didn't get pregnant with her until probably months later, after I made the decision that I was gonna have to leave teaching. But I felt completely lost, and my identity, everything that I ever worked for, was to be a teacher. So that was a very, very hard time, and I was going through a lot, and there were a lot of things that I was uncovering about myself. And during that time, and going through like that depression, I was with a naturopathic doctor. I talk about this in the Mask series if you want to get more detail on things, but I did discover a childhood trauma at that time, something that I had suppressed for 29 years at the time, okay? So that kind of put me in a tailspin, and I went through, some healing and stuff like that, but I don't feel like it was completely resolved. I definitely, the Lord showed himself to me. I came to Christ at that time. I knew that I was loved. I had a whole new perspective on life, because during that time I was so stuck and I didn't know what I was going to be doing or where I was going to be going, that I completely felt closed in, and Christ really had to like swoop me up and say, no, like, you're not done yet. You have a lot to do here still, and you're going to enjoy your life, and you are going to, be encouraged, and you're going to enjoy the little things. And that's exactly what the Lord had for me at that time. So that was the first time that I felt extremely depressed. And when I had Estella, I was on cloud 9, and she was a preemie. She was born at 34 weeks, and looking back, I mean, it was crazy. She was born in 2 hours, about 2 hours from the time we left the house to the time I went to the hospital. So it was crazy, and there was a lot going on in our life, and we were like getting a house, and my husband started a new job, and he had to travel, and just different things like that. But like, I was on cloud 9 with Estella, and I had such a new view of life, and I was so appreciative, of family and her, and I was in a very amazing state of gratitude. Getting into the second time, so when I had Bryson, so those of you that don't know, Estella now is 6 years old, and Bryson is 3.5. So I had Bryson. Bryson was a preemie as well, and he was born at 34 weeks. I had to be on bed rest with Bryson for about 4 weeks of just sitting on the couch and scared that my baby was going to be falling out of me. I mean, it was crazy, and I felt like that experience was extremely stressful, extremely traumatic. Luckily, I had a lot of help, and I was able to have that. So as Bryson, grows up and everything, I feel like after I had Bryson, I just didn't feel right. There was just something that was not right with me. And I never, you hear about postpartum, my symptoms were never where I was completely detached from my son. I loved him, and I never felt I never wanted to hurt him or harm him or anything. Like you'll hear some of those stories. All I know is that, and this might be too much information. Hopefully women are just watching this, but after Bryson, I bled for a very long time. It took me forever to stop. I didn't know what was wrong. I had to go to my naturopathic doctor again. So I didn't heal properly in that way after Bryson. And as the journey continued with him, and, I would say around that 13-month mark, I still kind of wasn't feeling totally myself. And then at that 13-month mark, I started feeling more and more trapped. I started feeling more and more sensory, like sounds would bother me. And I feel like I would get angry quicker, and I didn't have patience, and I was just in a very dark place. I didn't want to do the videos anymore. I wasn't working out like I normally wanted to. I didn't feel strong. I felt weak, and I felt like a victim. And I've always, throughout my life, have been like a fighter. I feel like that victimness is always inside of me, probably because of childhood things. And I've always had to fight against that. Okay, I've always had to just try my best and fight against it. And it was coming back, and it was coming to the surface extremely strongly. And so I remember when Estella turned around 4 or 5 years old or so, I started having these panic attacks and being worried about things. And what I can tell you is, and if you've been part of my channel for a long time, this is where journaling and my faith always come in. I've always been extremely present with my own body and my emotions. And if things are completely going out of whack, like I'm very aware of it. And the best thing for me, and I encourage this to anyone, is to always sit down with a piece of paper and to just kind of be with yourself and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's going on? Lord, what do you want me to be doing? Why is this happening? Or even just a request to want to get out of this. Like, I realize that I'm panicked more. I realize that this is happening. I realize that, I don't have patience with this, that, or the other. Lord, what am I supposed to do next? And that's where my faith comes in, because the Lord has never, ever let me down. When I am in that state and I realize that I've been in some type of trapped state for way too long, I mean, he comes to the rescue. It might take some time, but when you put that effort in, and when you reach up and you get your hand up and you make that call to him, he is going to answer you, and he's going to meet you, and he's going to guide you to the people that you need to go to. Now, I want to read something to you from my journal, just to kind of, I want this to glorify God immensely, because I was at wit's end. I didn't know what to do. I'm all about therapy. If you know me, I am completely about therapy. I did therapy when I was transitioning from being a teacher, going into this new, realm of motherhood. I did a little bit of therapy after Bryson was born. And then, like I said, when he turned 13 months, I was like, okay, things are really not going well. I have to figure out what to be doing, because as I'm talking about this, you guys, it's like anyone that is experiencing pain, PTSD, whatever it is, it affects everything. If you're not understanding your own pains and your own wounds, and you're not vulnerable, and you're not being vulnerable with your spouse, and if you don't know yourself what's going on, I guess all that's happening is you're just spewing out a bunch of stuff to everyone else, if that makes sense. So it's just so very important to always go back in to kind of figure out what's going on and figure out where you need to be led. Because I'm telling you this and encouraging you, if you're in this at all, is that once you deal with it, there's going to be harmony and peace and I think unity back in your family, back within yourself, and with your children everywhere. And I'm so sorry. This is not rehearsed at all. This is just coming from my heart to you. I want to read to you a journal entry that I wrote as I was, really just sitting down with my journal saying, Lord, I don't like the way I'm feeling. This isn't normal for me. I'm normally a go-getter. I'm not a super scared person. I normally don't feel extremely trapped. Lord, what's going on? So I had to sit down and kind of talk about things. So I want to read this to you. And this is when I finally decided, this is when I had a conversation with the Lord and, and with God and the universe. And I finally said, like, this is it. Like, I don't want to live like this. Please help me and bring me to someone that is going to help me. This is dated 10/24/2016. Feel very out of sorts, Lord. Please hold my hand. Guide me along. I pray, Lord, that when I make that call, which was going to be a call to someone to help today, that I find a therapist who understands motherhood and dreams, goals, desires, boredom, understands you. Please, Lord, send me a beautiful soul to walk with me to the next additional part of my life. Please work behind the scenes to get this person prepared for me. I love you so very much, Lord. Please help me provide grace for myself. Grace for myself. I will not just be quiet all the time. I will state how I feel with love. I have a right to have a voice. 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 And then I drew a picture of basically, and I'll probably get it better, but a picture of, Jesus and a heart and my husband and I and my children and just this unity. And I said, bring us together with you in the center, Lord Jesus. And that was on 10/25/2016. I'm telling you this about my journal because when I made that call, I found a woman. And as I entered this new therapy, ready to really continue to seek healing for my life with God as well. Like I feel like God can heal, and He has done amazing things in my life, but there are points too where we have to be there for each other. And so this lady that I was able to start working with was definitely God's hand and feet, and she definitely understood him. But I feel like if I didn't pray about it, I could have been with someone where we didn't jive, where it didn't work, where the path wouldn't have went the way it did. I started the sessions, and then I had just more panic and freak out moments, and I sat down with my journal again. And again, I want to reiterate that it's been a constant conversation. So every time I would try to seek healing, it always started with a conversation with my journal and God. So my journal and God are again, just staples. So I was able to sit down and realize I was panicking about things again, and maybe things were popping up from the past and things of that nature. I went to my therapist to talk about it, and basically she really asked and encouraged that I do EMDR therapy. Okay, so this is a new thing, and this is a modality of healing that I want to tell you that really worked for me, and this was what worked for me. And again, I'm not pushing this on anyone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some links down below what EMDR therapy is. There's also a book called The Body Remembers. And then there's also, I think, a YouTube video about a speaker that actually was able to compare EMDR therapy to other modalities of healing for anyone that has been through any type of trauma. Okay, so EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I had never ever heard of it before, but basically, again, when I did go into therapy, she did say, from everything that you're telling me and things you're going through, it sounds like you're suffering from PTSD. And again, I would have never thought that was the case, that's what I was experiencing. So EMDR therapy basically is a therapy that enables you to kind of file your memories and your experiences, and to bring it from the front of your brain kind of filed away to the back. Again, I'm not a scientific person. I'm not even going to be able to explain it appropriately or scientifically in any way. But all I know is that I went into it and I trusted the process. Now, my EMDR therapy took about 8 sessions, and what it is basically the therapist is holding like a box, and I'm holding these 2 kind of vibrating balls that are supposed to stimulate right to left, your right and left hemisphere, and it's kind of supposed to stimulate REM sleep. And I know this might sound crazy, and that's why I want to preface this by praying about it and making sure that you trust, I think, whoever you're going with, or whatever whoever is going to be administering this with you, just making sure that you have a good feeling and that you've built up a relationship before you go into this type of therapy. So basically, this therapy, you establish certain things, and you kind of attack and go back to your traumas, and it doesn't have to be completely, utterly detailed, but you kind of go back to your traumas and you give it a new frame, a new reference, and it's almost like you reprogram your mind to think about that differently. And so, whereas in the past, whenever my thoughts would click on to maybe some of those traumas, I would be feeling it in my body. Everything would be happening. And after you go through this therapy, it brings it down tremendously. And every single session, I got stronger and I got stronger and I got stronger. But what I do want to say is that it's terrifying. There's no way I could have done this back in 2011, 2012, 2010, when I was going through stuff at that time. I wasn't ready. There was no way. So God is always preparing you, and the time's going to be right when it's going to be right for one to heal in the way that they should. So the EMDR therapy is something that I just want to put out there and bring awareness to it. Because it definitely changed my life. It gave me strength again. I was able to go past it. I feel that One of the second traumas that popped up, and this is something I want to speak to all mothers out there, one of the second traumas that popped up was having my preemies and the bed rest and a very traumatic experience in the hospital before Bryson was born, and not being able to breastfeed. I wasn't able to breastfeed, and just all of those things, all of those things that made me feel unworthy. It's like when you're a mom and you have had your kids, and if you've had anything traumatic just in motherhood or delivering or whatever it is, because it's a very physical experience as a mother, as you all know if you are a mother. It's almost like any trauma that you had when you were younger, it's all compounded. And it's like the Lord saying, okay, like if things are popping up with your children, it's like the Lord saying, okay, can we deal with this now? Is this something that we can go ahead and deal with now? And like I said, it might not be for everyone, but that was a decision that I made, and that was a decision that I was very happy with, to face my trauma head on, to not just stay trapped, and to be committed to keep on moving forward with my life. Just, constantly give kudos to God. It's like if you're really seeking change, if you're really seeking difference, if you're really seeking to reach your highest potential, He's gonna deliver, He's gonna guide you, He's gonna show you, but it's gonna be painful, and it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. It reminds me of just women that I've been meeting, women that I've been seeing lately. I like this one woman that I was talking to just when I was with my son at just a play area, and we were just having conversation, and again she was sharing with me certain things, and like I said, women are popping up that are feeling stuck, and they're feeling trapped, and they feel like their life's over and they don't know what's going on. And all I said to her was, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to keep on going in this life. We deserve to keep growing, and we don't have to play small. It's so funny. It's like my word for the year is to go bigger. Like, we don't have to play small. And as women, there's so many things that happen to us that just deal with our bodies. I mean, there's miscarriages, there's premature births, there's so many things that leave a woman needing to heal, that might knock a woman off their rocker, and they might not even realize who they are anymore. I'm praying that this video encourages you to keep seeking that, to keep seeking your mode of healing, and that it's possible. And I'm not saying that I'm never going to go through this again. I have a feeling that I'm going to go through this again when my kids go away to college or something. Something else is going to pop up. I mean, things can constantly pop up. But if you're feeling completely stuck and completely not yourself, and you're not going where you want to be going, and you're not living the way you want to be living, I encourage you to check in, to seek, to journal, to pray, to talk to people around you, and to keep moving forward, and don't give up. See, if you feel like you need extra modes of healing, you need to do it. You need to do it for yourself. And do it sooner than later, because we don't have a lot of time. And I totally believe God wants to heal us, so we can then get out there, and so we can do His good work, and we can also enjoy this life, and we can be happy. And not only can we serve, but we can be happy. I hope I've made sense. I hope I've made sense out of what I've said, and I hope this has helped or touched someone. I am here as a resource for anyone that needs any extra support with anything or encouragement. And I think as my channel progresses, that's what I'm going to be doing. My channel is going to just consistently be encouragement. I'm going to consistently be encouraging you to check in and to be part of yourself and to know yourself, so you are able to just keep going and keep moving and to keep going forward. I pray that this reaches who it's supposed to. You're watching this for a reason. If you stayed all the way until the end, you're watching this for a reason. The Climb series is very important to me, because as I was writing it, I was healing and I was going through my EMDR therapy and all of these things. And I'm hoping to take, women on this journey as well, where they're really wanting to step up for themselves, help themselves heal from any trauma, and to move forward and live a life that they deserve and that they're meant to live. Love you guys very much. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for your support and your encouragement on Instagram as well. I pray that this lands to ears and eyes and hearts that are needing to receive this and hear this. God bless you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.